activities you are performing?
Yes, sure. Myself, Santosh Kumar. I'm having total 5.5 years of experience, and that 4.5 years is SQL database administration. Currently working with Infosys, and coming to the projects, I work for Charles and Citibank projects. And coming to my daily roles and responsibilities, I have worked for SQL Server installations, upgradations, and also applying the patches, cumulative updates and service packs. I worked on backups and recovery management, setting up of daily and weekly maintenance jobs like DBCC check DB jobs, update statistics job, index optimization jobs, and also worked on user management like creating logins, granting the access and resetting the passwords, and also deals with log file full issues, data file full issues, and TimeDB issues, and worked on the alerts like disk space alerts, long running queries, job failures, and also have experienced in all the high availabilities like configuration of log shipping, doing the manual failover, and working with tough file and work file, configuration of database mirroring, and worked on snapshot replication and transaction replication, and configuration of always on availability groups, troubleshooting of latency issues, and synchronization issues. And I have also experience in performance tuning, including query tuning, adding the missing indexes, checking the execution plans, identifying the critical blockings and deadlocks, and also worked on the tools like database tuning advisor, profiler, query store. And we have different tickets like incident tickets and the service requests which are raised by the users, and also we raise changes whenever we are working on the production level changes like standard change, normal change, and emergency changes. And we also attend the CAP calls to get the approvals from the application owners, and also we do the health checks for the critical servers on the regular basis.
Okay. You worked for this two projects, right? And City mentioned
Yes.
one more project.
Yes.
You have total experience in Infosys only, or any organizations you worked with?
First, I have joined in Genpact from 2018 to 23. I have worked for Genpact, and later on, I have joined Infosys.
Okay. Do you have experience like you have worked on like always on configure servers?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What type of issues were getting frequently on always on configure servers?
Synchronization issues, probably whenever the log file is full on the primary side, the data is not syncing to the secondary. Whenever any disks are full, whenever log backup is not happened on the primary side, or else whenever you're doing any manual failovers, the AG will went to the resolving states. So these kind of issues will be getting on the regular basis.
Okay. And if like log file on the AG configured database, what type of actions we are going to take? And how you are going to check the log full issue? What is the issue? Like how you can go into
we have a log backup job on the user databases for every 1 hour. So every 1 hour the log backup will run and the data will be flushed and it will be syncing to the secondary. If that log backup is not happening due to any other actual transactions, I'll try to run this job, or else I'll try to run the query like a log reuse wait query on the database so that it will be showing what exactly the action we have to do, like is there any log backup is required, or any manual checkpoint is required, or any active transaction is running so that we have to wait for it. So based on that, I'll take action. Most probably I'll run the log backup job. If that is also not possible and it is taking more time, then I'll try to remove the database from the AG and I'll try to add again to the database so that the database will sync. Sometimes we can suspend the data movement and we can resume it. If there is an issue, then it will database will sync. So these basic steps we'll take.
do you have encryption?
TDE, only a few servers we have transparent data encryption on the servers. Yes.
Okay. If the database is enabled with TDE, like how you are going to add the database to AG?
First, whenever we apply this transparent data encryption, we'll be taking the backup of the certificate and the private key. If you don't have the certificate and private key, we can take the backup of certificate and private key from the source server and then we have to move this certificate and primary key to the destination server, and we have to restore this master key and certificate with the help of private key. Then only we can restore, and then only we can add this database to the AG group. After adding this master key certificate, there is a key we have to enter. Whenever we adding this database to the AG group, it will be asking for the key. So that key we have to enter to add the database to the AG group.
Okay, which key we are going to add there?
Whenever we are giving the password to take the backup on the source server, the same key we have to give in the AG setup.
In your environment, you are going to store those keys, or like how you will get those?
We have
Production.
we have a shared path where we have encrypted Excel files are there where most of the passwords, keys are stored. We will be getting from them. If you don't have this private key and certificate, then if you have access on the source server, then we can take the backup with the fresh password, and with the fresh key we can take the backup. All we want is the access to the source server.
Okay. Do you have like SSL certificate experience? Like
SSL, yes, I know how the SSL certificates will work. Adding the SSL certificates and all will taken care by the seniors. I didn't get a chance to work on it, but I know how it will work.
you are in L2 or?
L2 itself, L3 team will take care of those certificates, security, and some of the critical areas.
If any you identified some blockings within the server, how you are going to troubleshoot? What is the blocking and how you are going to troubleshoot?
Blocking is kind of to maintain the data consistency between the transactions. A lock will be assigned on the particular table or a database. In that case, other transactions has to wait for the transaction to complete. This waiting process we can call this as a blocking. So if we can see the blockings, I will check using sp_who to active or sp_who is active. These are the system stored procedures which can show you the active transactions which are running on the server. So there is a column called blocked by column. If I can see any blockings on the server, I'll try to identify the header blocker with the help of activity monitor. There is header blocker column. There I'll check the header blocker. If that is not a production and we have a approval, then I'll try to kill the header block to release the sessions. If you are not allowed to kill the header blocker, then we have to pick the query using DBCC input buffer of SPID, and we have to tune that query, like checking the execution plan, why it is running slow, maybe there is any missing indexes or any fragmented tables are involved in that query. We have to do the troubleshooting.
Apart from that, to resolve that issue on that particular time, what steps you are going to take?
First, I'll try to check the execution plan. In the execution plan, if I can see any missing indexes, I'll try to add some indexes on the table. For that, we have to identify the columns where we have to add the indexes, where we are using any joins, where they are using any where conditions, joins, and order by. So these columns, I'll be picking those columns and I'll be adding some indexes on it. So after the adding indexes, I'll be doing update statistics, and I'll be running the same query with recompile, so that it will be creating a new execution plan rather than using all the old statistics. That would help. Or else I'll be checking the fragmentation levels of the table. If any tables are fragmented, then I'll try to run this rebuild index and reorganize index jobs to eliminate the fragmentation. And I will also fragmentation is kind of whenever we are working on the OLTP service, when inserts, updates, and deletes are happening continuously. Whenever the data is deleted from the page, the white space should be remain same. It will be not rearranged. These white spaces and empty spaces percentage, we call it as a fragmentation, that causes that impact on the select statement performances.
What is the difference between reorganize and rebuild?
If you perform reorganize, it rearranges the data and pushes the empty space to the end of the page. And if you do this rebuild index, it drops the index and it recreates the index. Whenever we have less fragmentation, we can do this reorganize index. Whenever we have a more fragmentation, we can do the rebuild index. Reorganize index is an online operation, we can do it in business hours. Rebuild index is a offline operation, it holds the lock on the tables. There may be a chances that getting the blockings, so that rebuild indexes we cannot recommend it to run this business hours.
Okay. And like if some user database is corrupted, how you are going to check and what type of actions you are going to perform?
If the database is corrupted, we cannot able to do anything on this database. So that's why we have to get a partial control on the database. We have to bring the database in emergency mode by running the query. There is a query to bring the database in emergency mode, and after that we have to put the database in single user mode, and then we have to run this dbcc check db on the server if we can find any errors or any corruption errors. After that we have to run the dbcc repair underscore data underscore allow underscore data underscore loss. In that case we have to accept the potential data loss, and then after running the dbcc repair query, we have to bring back the database in multi-user mode.
Okay, in DBCC check DB you are not getting any errors, then what is the process?
Even though if you're not getting any errors, then there is no chance we have to repair the database. If we don't have the proper backup from our side, we have to repair it with the data potential data loss. Rather than losing the whole data, it's better to repair the database and getting some of the data out of it.
How you are going to perform user database file movement?
User database file movement, yes. Okay. First we have to get the exact current file location using sp underscore help file. It will be giving you the file information, exactly where the data file location is and where the log file location is. And after that there are two methods. We can deattach the database from the SQL Server, and we have to go to the physical location and we have to copy the files from older location to the new location, and then we have to attach the database by pointing the new paths, or else we can put the database in offline mode, and then we can bring the files to the new location, and then we can bring back the database online.
Okay. Like MTP file movement, how you are going to perform MTP file?
First we have to get the file location using Yes. First we have to get the file location using sp underscore help file, and then we have to run a query, alter database name file is equal to, there is a query, not sure of the query, alter database name, modify file of name is equal to file name, and file name is equal to new path / file name dot ndf. We have if you have more than 4 temdb files, we have to execute 4 queries. If you have 8 data files, we have to run 8 alter queries. So after running the alter query, we have to just go and restart the SQL services, so that in new data files and log files will be created on the new location whenever we restart the services.
Okay. If we are not able to start the SQL services, how you are going to troubleshoot and what checks you are going to perform? SQL services is in stop procedure.
So whenever I'll try to restart the SQL services, if I get any error, any detailed error, I'll check, or else I'll go to the event viewer manager, their Windows logs and then application logs. I'll try to check if there is any error identified in the event viewer, like any master database is corrupted, or any file is missing, or any MSDB database. Most of the times, if the system databases are not online, any files are missing, the SQL services won't start. If that case, if MSDB is not available, there is a trace flag -T368, I guess. We can start by skipping the MSDB database, and we can enter into the SQL Server, and then we can bring the MSDB database online by restoring the proper backup. If the master database is corrupted or any file is missing, we can rebuild the master database, or we can repair the master database, but we have to make sure that we have a proper backup. So after rebuilding the master database, we have to restore with the proper backup. Then only we can see this user databases and other stuff. There may be
Copy
other.
only backup?
No, full backup.
Copy only backup.
I mean, you're asking about what is copy only backup.
Yeah.
Copy only backup is also similar like a full backup. It will take the backup of the whole database, including data file and a log file. And the difference is if we take the full backup, it will break the LSN chain and automatic backups will fail. If you take the copy only backup, it will take the backup without breaking the LSN chain.
What is tail log backup?
It is also similar like a log backup. Whenever we trigger the tail log backup, the checkpoint will occur and the data will be flushes to the data file. And at the same time, the database, if there are two parameters whenever taking the log backup, restore with no recovery and restore with continue after error. If you use the restore with no recovery, the database will went to the restoring mode. If you want to take the backup, even though database is corrupted, then we have to use the parameter continue after error.
That's restore with no truncate, right?
That note after, yes, that is also, yes.
How many recovery models are missing? In SQL Server?
We have three recovery models in SQL Server: simple recovery model, full recovery model, and bulk log recovery model.
When in which situations which recovery model is preferable? Can you please elaborate something?
If it is full recovery model, there is a manual checkpoint will occur whenever we trigger the manual log backup, and the data will be flushed to the data file. So we can take the log backup in simple recovery model, and we can do the point in time recovery. So whenever we are working on the production level and we are configuring any high availability like log shipping, mirroring, or always on, the full recovery model databases will be recommended so that no data will be lost. Maybe there may be very less data will be lost. Whenever we are using simple recovery models, there is an automatic checkpoint will occur and the continuous checkpoints will occur and data will be flushing continuously, so that we cannot take the log backup and we cannot do the point in time recovery. So whenever we are working on the test environments and dev servers, we cannot maintain this log backups and all, then we can use the simple recovery models. Whenever we are working on bulk inserts and bulk updates, bulk operations, it's better to put the database in bulk log recovery model so that the database performance will be improved. In bulk log recovery model, we can take the log backup and we can do the point in time recovery, but there is some conditions on that. Even though the database is in bulk log recovery model, there is two conditions where we can do the point in time recovery: whenever we don't have any bulk transactions and until the last log backup.
Okay. For one database, one user is having the database owner and database reader and database DB reader. Then what type of access will work for
The user can do anything on the database rather than read, because we are restricting the read access by giving the deny reader.
Okay. If we are giving both DB owner and DB reader, then in that case also it will
Yes.
work like that.
Yes, deny reader will restrict any access rather than sysadmin. If you give only sysadmin and DB deny reader, then only it will not work. For any other access, deny reader can restrict the access.
Okay.
He can do all the things rather than read.
Okay. What is checkpoint and lazy writer?
The point at which the data is flushed from the log file to the data file, that point we call it as a checkpoint. We have a different checkpoints: automatic checkpoint, direct checkpoint, internal checkpoint, and indirect checkpoints. Coming to this lazy writer, it is a process for, we have a data cache which can store the data in a buffer pool. Whenever this data cache is full, it has to be flushed out the data from the data cache by using this lazy writer mechanism. So lazy writer will flush out the pages from the data cache and return back to the disk using the LRU algorithm. Whatever the least recently used pages are there, those pages will be flushed back to the disk with the help of lazy writer.
Do you have experience on replication?
Yes.
In transaction replication, one article need to be added to the replication. What step messages you are going to pop up without taking
Running the full snapshot, yes. Understand.
without,
Without running a full snapshot, right?
yeah.
Okay. So first we have to make sure that whatever the articles that we want to add in a publisher, that should be have at least one primary key. And then before adding the article to the publication, we have to disable allow anonymous and immediate sync. We can disable them by running the query, and or else publisher properties, there is an option to disable them. So after disable these two things, we have to add the article to the publication, and we have to run the snapshot so that the partial snapshot will run and only added articles will be replicated rather than running a full snapshot. So after that, we have to re-enable these options, allow anonymous and immediate sync.
Okay. And what is the difference between log shifting and DB mirroring?
Both are database level high availabilities, but there are some limitations for the log shipping. We don't have any manual failover, and the data synchronization will be happen through the jobs like the backup job, copy job, and restore job. So there may be some latency to sync the data to the secondary, because the three jobs has to be run to sync the data. In coming to the database mirroring, there is an automatic failover will happen, so that the no data loss will be happen, and the synchronization will be happen through the endpoints, so that the data will be synced right after we inserting the data. And for manual failover in log shipping, it will take almost 15 minutes approximately. In database mirroring, we can fail over to the secondary within fraction of seconds. And in log shipping, we can configure multiple secondaries up to 3. And in database mirroring, we can only configure one primary and one secondary. In log shipping, we can read the databases from the secondary by configuring log shipping with no recovery, with standby mode. We don't have that privilege in database mirroring, so that no one can read the database from the secondary.
Okay. And in Replication server, when cluster node is down, what type of issues you can see? Like it's part of any patching or something. It's not come up online.
One of the node is
Like your database should be in which mode?
the node is one of the node is down, right?
Yeah.
In always on.
Yeah.
Maybe as I said, maybe the patching is applied, and maybe if we have 4 nodes, if we want to apply the patch, we have to apply the patch on all the nodes. If you apply the patch on the primary side and left the other servers, the data is not synchronized actually. Whenever we add any data file on the primary side and the path will be different on all the other secondary replicas, the data will not be synchronized. And whenever we are doing any manual failover, in failover cluster manager properties, there is an option failover count. The failover count would 1 or 2, maybe less. The failover will not be happen more than at 2 times in a 6 hours of period of time. So we have to change that value to the 5 or 6, so that we can do multiple failovers during the 6 hours period of time.
Okay, what is update stats?
Statics are, whenever we do any major changes, like any primary key created or any index is created, any major changes, any huge inserts are happened, these changes are inserted created as a statistics under the table. So these statistics should be updated time to time, so that because these updated statistics should be taken consideration by the query optimizer to create a best execution plan.
Okay. How many servers you are supporting now in your project? Is there any Azure AWS servers you have?
For now, we have only on-premises servers. They're just planning to, migrate to Azure. For now, I have only
Now you are supporting
on-prem servers only. Yes.
There was no cloud.
For now, no. Yes.
How many servers you have?
We have a total 120 servers, including production, dev, and test.
All are your test. Production only how many?
Production, we have 60 plus servers. 60 plus production servers we have.
Okay. And like how you are going to support it? So 24/7 or like
24/7, yes. We have shifts.
how many resources are there in your project?
We have 15 members in a team, including team lead and manager. They're also technical.
Okay, 15 members are working.
Yes.
Okay.
We have 3 shifts, morning shift and afternoon shift and night shift actually. 3 shifts we have.
Weekends also you are supporting?
Yes, rotational shifts. Yes, Sunday and Monday also we have to support in holidays.
Okay. Yeah, Santosh, I have done from my side. I'll update to my manager.
Okay,
Then
yeah.
get back.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for your time.